This is so cool. I love it. This is, I was just saying to Claire that this is what you call reality TV. I challenge you.
It is, isn't it? But the thing is, I'm the right way up and you're upside down on my phone. And it's really weird because, like, when we started, the phone went, doot, brrr. I just went,
Whoa.
are you serious? I'm upside down?
I'm waiting for you to sort of drop.
Hang on. Ah!
All right. So do you need to drop out and come back in?
Do you want me to drop out, and come back in and just see? Oh, hang on.
Or
let me push this. What happens if I push the reverse button? Will that just show you my really cool studio?
I really want to see is probably the rest of your house if it's anything like that. I really want to.
Hang on, I'll push it and see what happens.
Susan's loving it, saying, "Hey, Ola, now that's a creative look."
Hey. No, I don't know. I'm going to drop out.
Yeah, and
I'll drop out this way.
Claire is actually. I'm going to play Linda for a while, and Claire.
Thanks, Adaire.
Can you tell? Can you share with me what Jade Eggs are? Because I have like the Jade Egg Practice because I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
So it's an ancient Chinese practice, and the oldest record we have is about 100 years BC.
Yeah.
So it's an ancient Chinese practice that's been around for a very, very, very long time. And there's a teacher called Mantak Chia who brought Jade Egg to the West.
Yeah.
So it's in more recently, it's had a bit of a revival. So more and more people are kind of starting to hear about it. But it comes from the Taoist tradition, which I guess is like the Chinese version of Tantra.
So what sort of tradition was it? It was...
So it's from the Taoist tradition, and it's not a lot is known, but it's speculated that the women of the royal palaces in ancient China used to use the Jade Egg practice to promote their own health and vitality, and also their sexual prowess.
Well, you got my attention. Let's
it's
have
amazing.
We've got Susan saying hi.
Hi, Susan.
And Paula's saying she has a jade egg, but she's not confident, so she doesn't use it. This is there we go. Taoist. Like seriously, I'm such a noob with this stuff. I love hooking into Linda's lounge chats because I learn so much, and I never thought that I'd be here. Like, this is so cool. I'm not hijacking your show, but that's okay. Susan's saying she has one and she loves it. So I'm really. So this is what you call Taoist?
Yeah, so it's tea, but it's Taoist.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've got one here too, just for people that. So this is like pretty much it's like an egg. It's a jade egg. You can see it's got a little hole. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a little hole drilled through the top.
Yeah. Can see that.
So they come in three. A lot of the time that you can get them in 3 different sizes. This is the middle size, and this is the one that I would suggest for most people that were starting out in the practice. There is a smaller one, but unless you've been doing it for a long time, then the little one just falls out. Let's be honest. We don't have, most of us need about this size, and they come drilled or undrilled, but the drilled ones are better. So for people that are a little bit scared to try it, and if you haven't heard of it before, someone's saying, oh yeah, go and place this piece of crystal in your vagina, I can understand that might be a bit like, what? You want me to put what? Where?
Yeah.
So the ones with the holes are really good because you can use it, like the hole's designed so you thread it.
Yeah.
So a piece of unwaxed dental floss or a piece of silk or something. And that way, when you're using it, if you want to get it out, all you got to do is give the string a little tug and it comes out. Because I've heard that a lot of people, I've never got one stuck, but sometimes people can get them stuck, and just having that string.
Yeah, I think it's probably
there's a bit more peace of mind.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's like, sort of all through our youth we use tampons, so why not use, that? So
something
just
that's really beneficial. Yeah.
so, and Linda's saying it's not letting her connect via phone or laptop. So we're just going to run with it, Linda. I've
We
hijacked your
just
show.
totally
It's
hijacked.
it's mine, all mine. I know I can see she's in the lobby, but she's actually not coming up. So we'll keep talking. She's in the lobby. She's here. Aha! And she's the right way up. That's awesome.
Hi.
All right. So,
Hey, Claire.
Hello.
Linda, that's okay. I'm going to bow out, but we got to. I'll let Claire tell you where you're up to anyway. But thank you, because I have some questions that I want to ask, and I'll do that from the other side of the audience. So you girls, take it away.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adaire. Thank you so much. Hello, beautiful.
Hello. We got there in the end.
We did.
So we were just talking briefly about like the Taoist tradition and where the jade egg comes from, and that's kind of as far as we got.
Okay, cool. So I was trying to fill space before and just giving a little bit of what my understanding of Jade Egg Practice was, and the fact that it really is a focus on women's sexuality, sexual health, that get it reconnecting with that center of feminine power and energy and so on and so forth. So
yes,
do you want to expand on some of that?
And I'm talking broad terms here, but I think the majority of women in this day and age have a certain level of disconnect with their sexual self, and a lot of disconnect with their sexual energy, with their like vagina and reproductive organs in general. And the jade egg works on, it's a whole body practice. So it works on the physical body, it works on the psycho-emotional body, it works on the spiritual body to reconnect us to ourselves, really, to that core of who we are, which as women especially comes from our sexual energy, our creativity, our vitality. All of that comes from the connection we have and the comfort we have in our sexual selves. So from that emotional and spiritual perspective, the jade egg works really well to support women to really love their bodies, to create more bliss, joy, happiness, to deal with any sexual trauma and reconnect to or work through any numbness in the body. On a more physical level, it helps to increase sensitivity and sensation in the vagina. It helps to have better orgasms. It helps.
And who doesn't want that, right?
I know. Hello.
Yeah.
The sensitivity and the control of like the pelvic floor, pelvic muscles. So from a physical perspective, if you're looking at prolapse or incontinence or even things like vulvodynia and dryness, when you use the jade egg, that practice can, like, I know women that have healed those physical things from using the jade egg.
Okay.
If you jump online and start researching the jade egg, because it's had such an explosion of interest in the modern time, you're going to come up against like lots of controversy around whether you should or shouldn't use it, and the benefits or the what's the opposite of a benefit? The negatives to using the jade egg. So there's a lot of hype, and at present there is no scientific evidence that I know of that supports either for or against claims that people make of the practice. Like anything, it's not, like, it sounds amazing, it's not a miracle cure. But like meditation, once people said, there's no benefits to that, and now science is proving the amazing benefits that meditation has. And Jade egg is going the same way. You know, it's an ancient practice. It's been used in China and through the Taoist tradition for a really long time, and it's just a matter of time until science kind of catches up with it.
Yep, exactly. And I think, well, that holds true across many of the traditional wisdoms that we tap into. So a lot of the complementary therapies, that are based in traditional wisdom come up against that hard edge of skepticism. And, if it's not proven scientifically, then it doesn't work. So, there's a lot to be said for some of the changes that happen are at such a subtle level that science hasn't quite developed the methods to measure how that happens.
Yeah.
So I think,
it's not just about the physical. Yeah, it's about
go in with a balance.
Feel.
Yeah. Now, I've just had a message from Adaire, so I'm just going to multitask and completely ignore you for a minute. So if you wanted to maybe expand a bit more on, say, are there any contraindications coming out of childbirth, pregnancy, those sort of things?
There are a couple of contraindications. One is when you're having your period, don't use the egg. So you can do the practice, like the physical practice, but just don't insert the egg. That's a time when your body is trying to release, so you don't want to be putting things in your vagina when your vagina is trying to expel pregnancy. So again, if you jump on the internet, there will be some Jade egg teachers and some information there saying, it's great to use for pregnancy, but my teacher in my lineage says, why, like, there's so much going on, so much changes happening at that time, why mess with that? Leave it alone. So it's kind of like use at your own discretion, but I would advise against using it during pregnancy.
Yeah, and when you think about what your body's physically doing during pregnancy, it's almost like, well, it has created a special seal to enclose the baby. So why would you want to do anything that might actually disrupt that? Not saying that Jade egg would, but
no, and again, there's been no, like, some people do use it during pregnancy, and there are teachers that advise it's a great way, like, you should use it during pregnancy because you can really work with all the pelvic muscles, etc. So there has been no documented negative effects from using it during that time, but why risk it, And then the only other thing that is really important is that you're using good quality 100% neophyte jade or obsidian.
Yep.
Since the hype around, or like yoni eggs. So
that was actually going to be one of my questions to you. And I've got Adaire jumping back on because people are asking questions, but I can't see the comments anywhere, so I can't answer people's questions. So the beautiful Adaire.
Thank you, girls. Thank you so much for your patience.
Back.
We've got, we talked about the prolapse. Susan was saying, is it safe to use during prolapses and if they can be reversed? So that was something that Susan has asked. Can prolapses be reversed? I know you said it's safe and it's good for them.
So from a scientific perspective, like if you want like pure science, there's no evidence to say that it can. But I do know women, and my teacher knows a lot of women that have healed prolapse through the use of the jade egg. It's really good for working with like atrophy of the vagina muscles. So by using the jade egg, you start to strengthen all the muscles in that pelvic, so the pelvic belt and all of the smaller muscles. And by using the jade egg to work those muscles, you're strengthening that area, which can assist with prolapse.
Okay, cool. Let's see, what else did we have here? Joanne's saying she's never heard of it, but she's saying, she gets it now, like duo eggs. I've never heard of duo eggs.
Are they the balls? I'm not sure. Is that the two balls? I don't know what duo.
Duo.
I don't know.
The ones
like
that
there's the two balls. So there's some. I don't know if they're pelvic floor balls. So I guess it, like, in one way it's similar, but in another way it's like it's much more than just a physical practice. It's a really holistic spiritual practice.
So there's other stuff that sort of goes with it. Sorry, Linda.
100%.
No, that's okay. I'm just thinking I've got someone honking and yelling at my front gate.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go out and see what that's about. And Adaire, you're a lifesaver. I'm sorry, Claire, just hang on a moment.
You go, I'll drop you out. And there we go. So Susan's wondering, is obsidian not too strong to use internally for this practice?
Obsidian, in terms of the qualities of the crystal.
I'm really showing my ignorance, aren't I? Go on. So, sorry, you were saying?
You the reason that you'd only use jade and obsidian is because of the structure of the crystal. They're very dense, they're not porous, they're very strong, they're made under really high temperatures, so they're not going to crack, they're not going to break. And because they are not porous and they, like, the structure of the crystal doesn't have any, like, it's solid, it doesn't have any fissures or anything, no bacteria can get in. It's much more hygienic and it's much safer. Like if you use a rose quartz egg, for instance, they are, like, the crystalline structure is porous and they're not a strong crystal. And I've heard stories of people not having them shatter while the egg is in their vagina, but having done a practice taking the egg out and then the egg has shattered. If you drop these, like, they're not going to break or chip, and you don't want to be putting anything in your vagina that may break or chip or that isn't hygienic.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. So Diane is saying, yes, the balls, she was talking about the duo balls, yes, we're inside your vagina. And Susan's saying it's not the same as duo eggs. So now Susan's asking, what are the energies of crystal being the strength of, how did you pronounce that? Obsidian's qualities. I see Linda's back. I'm going to pop her back into the broadcast. So Susan's saying, what are the energies of? So not too strong. So obsidian and the jade. So she was talking about the energy of the actual crystal, not so much as, yeah. So I'm going to put Linda back. I can still hear you from down when I'm out. And it wasn't Tina, it was Vesna. Theoni's saying, are these what Tina was talking about at her event? I think it was Vesna. But anyway, I'm just going to drop out and you can talk about the energy of it, because that's another question that I have while I've got your attention. Is the actual spiritual practices that go with it, and also how often or how what's the wearing cycle? Like you said, not during pregnancy, not during menstruation, but what's the wearing cycle? So there's
the jade, the healing properties of the jade are really, I guess, good for this practice. They help draw impurities from the vagina tissues. It's a very detoxifying and cleansing crystal. And this, like, if you go back to the Taoist tradition and the way the jade egg was used in the Taoist tradition in ancient China, they only used jade, which is why it's a jade egg practice. I've never used an obsidian egg. I know that they have really strong, like the crystal has really strong properties. I like the jade egg, and the reason I say obsidian is because from an actual physical crystal structure, that's the only other one that you would want to use.
Yeah, it's my understanding that the jade itself is very harmonizing, very balancing. It's quite a gentle energy. The obsidian itself is a very strongly grounding crystal. Yeah. So you'd actually want to be very careful, particularly if I would imagine that if you're a woman who suffers from heavy periods, for instance, even though you don't use this during your menstrual cycle, using that strong downward drawing energy could actually be, I don't know, detrimental, I guess, or, you know, just an added trigger to heavy flow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I only use the Jade, and I would only, like, my suggestion would be to use Jade. This is what the tradition is based off. And if you start, you can get yoni eggs in a whole variety of different crystals. From a physical perspective, jade egg and obsidian are the only ones that the crystalline structure is strong enough and dense enough to use internally. In terms of the crystalline properties, I would just suggest the jade. And, you know, that's what they've been using for thousands and thousands of years. So why would you use anything else? And then to answer Adele's questions, most of the practice that you do with the jade egg, you can do in less than an hour. A lot of them are 15, 20 minutes. You can wear the egg for longer. I teach yoga. I don't know if my yoga students would want to know that or not, but I teach yoga with the jade egg in sometimes. And sometimes I'll finish doing a practice and my body won't feel like it's ready to release the egg. So I might walk around wearing the egg for a couple of hours.
Okay.
Don't wear it
so
overnight.
So if you are working with the egg and choose to wear it, that's more based on what your body's response to the practice is, as opposed to an intellectual decision of, oh, I'm just going to wear my egg today. Is that how that works?
It's kind of both. Like,
is it? Okay.
You know, if I'm having a really lazy day and I want to do a jade egg practice, but I really can't be bothered to bring the energy and the tension into lying down and doing the practice, then there are times that I'll just do a lazy practice and I'll get my body aroused enough to accept the egg and then I'll just wear it for a few hours just because
Okay.
So it can be intellectual, it can be from your body. Really important. I know we're jumping around a little bit here, but your sexual sovereignty is really important. And as women, I think so many times we allow ourselves to be penetrated before we're ready or before our vagina is ready to open and accept something. And so with the jade egg, it's really important that instead of just shoving it in your vagina, you take the time to ask that question of your vagina, of yourself. Are you ready to accept the egg? Do you want the jade egg? And wait for an answer before you insert it. And then when you're inserting the egg, like, take your time. It's not a matter of just shoving it up there. Like, it's a ritual. And your relationship with your body will deepen and grow if you start honoring your needs. So if it's a yes, go for it. If it's a no, then you can put the egg aside and still do the practice, but without actually having the egg inside. And if it's a maybe, then ask yourself, okay, what do you need for this to be either a yes or a no? And wait for an answer. Don't wear it while you're sleeping. Definitely don't wear it while you're having sex. It's a hard object. You don't really want that in there when something else is moving around.
No, absolutely. And so I've got a question here. This might answer the question. I wouldn't leave it in
for more than 6 hours. I wouldn't don't just put it in and leave it all day, especially if you don't have a solid practice. If you're not comfortable, then do your 20-minute practice, take it out. But definitely don't leave it in for, like a tampon. You wouldn't leave a tampon in for 8 hours. So same.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that pretty much answers Susan's question, which was, so you can just start wearing it at night. Why do you not wear it while sleeping? And I guess it's that duration of time.
It's also that, so when you're sleeping, all like all the muscles in your body relax, and you want them to all relax. And when you have a jade egg, it'll probably, like, I've never slept with it overnight, but I would assume that more than likely it would get expelled anyway, because your muscles are all relaxed and they don't want to be working to hold the jade egg inside your body. And you want to give all of those muscles the opportunity to just completely let go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that certainly makes sense to me. And I guess, you know, sleep is the time that the body's doing its restorative stuff too. So you don't really want to interfere with that rhythm too much as well. So,
and then just one.
Yeah, sorry, we do need to wrap up because our host needs her program for her own show. So yes, your last comment.
Just lastly, just from a hygiene perspective, when you get an egg, if you haven't got one already, first time, make sure you boil it for minimum 10 minutes before you use it. Jade egg is fine if the water can boil at 100 degrees or over. If you get a jade egg and they advise you not to do that, then chances are it's not 100% jade. So if it cracks when it's boiling, then it's not 100% jade and you don't want to use it anyway. So make sure that you boil it and then wash it under warm water. You can use warm soapy water, like pH neutral soapy water after use. And then same thing, before you use it, put some, like, just tip some boiling water over it or chuck it in a cup with some boiling water. Or you can use iodine if you feel more comfortable.
Fantastic. All right, so Claire,
if anyone has any questions, yes.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, you know, if people are interested in taking up Jade Egg Practice, do they connect with you online, or, you know, where can they purchase a jade egg? Where would you recommend they look for information and for instruction on developing their own jade egg practice?
So they're more than welcome to contact me. Once the yoga studio opens, I'll be running more intro to jade egg practices. I do one-on-one jade egg workshops or practices. If they have any questions, I'm happy for people to email me and I'll get back to them. In Darwin, I have a bunch of eggs if anybody wants them. Otherwise, this company, Polar Jade, is where I would recommend getting the eggs from. This is where I source my eggs from. It's a Canadian company. They're 100% jade eggs. They're about $65 plus postage. So I think they end up being, I don't know, maybe $100. But you're putting it in your vagina, so you want that really good quality. And then Layla Martin, who's my teacher, does an online, I think it's a 7-week online jade egg course. And if you do that course, you'll get a jade egg from Polar Jade. That's a 7-week online course, which is a brilliant course as well. And if anyone, has any questions or wants the links to anything, then I'm happy for them to send me an email or jump onto my website, social media, all of that.
Fantastic. All right, so I will definitely come back in after the broadcast and I'll put some information up for people so they can connect with you and have all your links available there. If you do have questions that you haven't had the opportunity to ask now, put them in the comments below. Both Claire and myself will come back through. Claire will be the one with the very experienced information, and I'll just make sure that we haven't missed anybody's questions. And I'm wrapping this up in a hurry because our beautiful host Adaire actually needs her program to run her own broadcast. So big shout out to Adaire Palmer from Social Media for Small Business. Thank you so much for being present in the lounge room with me today and helping Claire and I to connect to talk about Jade Egg. Claire, thank you so much for your time today for your patience and flexibility getting online with us. Oh my goodness,
Thanks,
Facebook
Linda.
and I, we need some time. That's my pleasure, Claire. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody who connected in today. It was wonderful to see all those questions. We'll connect again next week. I'll see you then.